What if I told you that a tiny black seed, smaller than your fingernail, shaped the world we live in today? Can you guess what it is? It was once a driving force in world exploration. This crop helped build vast empires, and it still continues to be a huge source of income for farmers hundreds of years later. India has always been considered the land of spices, but one spice stood out above the rest: black pepper. People called it the king of spices, and even black gold, not just for its taste and health benefits, but because it was so valuable. In fact, this tiny black seed, with its sharp, earthy, and peppercorn taste, helped India rise to the top of the global spice market, now worth nearly $150 million. In this video, you'll learn the story of black pepper and how Indian farmers turned simple pepper vines into big profits. Imagine a place where the air is warm, the rains come often, and the hills are covered in green vines. This is where black pepper was made, in the tropical lands of Asia, particularly India, Indonesia, and Vietnam. In India, it thrives in the misty mountains of Kerala, climbing and wrapping itself around tall trees. But black pepper's story is not just about farming. It's about power, wealth, and even survival. Over 2,000 years ago, Alexander the Great carried it to the west. By the year 410, when Rome was under attack, black pepper was so valuable it was demanded as ransom, measured out like treasure. In those times, pepper wasn't just a spice, it was money. People paid rent, taxes, and even wedding dowries with it. Black pepper was so priceless that it was weighed like gold, hence earning its name black gold. In fact, it became so popular in Europe that it sparked the age of exploration in the 15th century AD and pushed voyagers such as Christopher Columbus and Vasco da Gama to establish direct trade with local Indian pepper farmers and disrupt their spice monopoly. Even after centuries, black pepper hasn't lost its shine. Today, it is the most popular and widely used spice in the world. Another reason it still holds the crown as the king of spices. And in modern India, farmers are carrying on this ancient legacy, turning tiny peppercorns into millions for the world to enjoy. Now, let's see how they do it. India is one of the world's top producers of black pepper, right alongside Indonesia and Vietnam. And the demand for this tiny spice has only grown stronger over the years. Why? Because black pepper isn't just about flavor. It's valued in medicine, cooking, and even wellness products. Its sharp taste, rich aroma, and healing qualities keep it in high demand across the globe. In 2024, the market for Indian black pepper was worth nearly $150 million, with each kilogram selling for about $6 to $10. By 2033, it's expected to cross 200 million, growing steadily as more industries, from food to pharmaceuticals, discover its power. The heart of India's pepper production lies in Kerala, on the country's southwest coast. Here, about 65 to 70% of India's pepper is grown. For local farmers, this spice is more than a crop. It's financial security. Since pepper vines can produce up to 3 times a year, families in Kerala have relied on them for generations. And the world can't get enough. Over 75 countries import Indian pepper in bulk, including the US, the European Union, Middle Eastern nations, and many across Asia. This trade alone brings millions into India every year. But here's the twist. Despite being a global leader, India still relies mostly on small local farmers. These farmers don't use giant machines or modern tech. Instead, they follow age-old methods passed down through generations. And that's where the story gets truly fascinating. Let's take a closer look at how these farmers grow and harvest this incredible spice. In India, black pepper farming looks a little different. Since most of it is done by small farmers, they work on tiny plots of land, often less than 2 hectares. They don't use fancy machines. Instead, they follow old methods passed down through generations. The journey begins with choosing the right stems. Between October and December, just after the rains, farmers carefully cut healthy branches from strong pepper plants, always checking to make sure they're free from disease. These cuttings, taken from about knee height, hold the promise of a new vine. Next, the cuttings are placed in nursery beds or small poly bags tucked safely under shade so the sun won't scorch them. For 2 to 3 months, the farmers water them every day, waiting patiently as tiny roots begin to form. Once the young plants are strong enough, they're slowly introduced to more sunlight and less water, toughening them up for the field. By June and July, when the monsoon rains return, it's time to move them. The baby pepper plants are placed into the soil, 2 to 3 meters apart, always near a pole or a tall tree that will guide their climb. Farmers tie the tender vines gently, helping them grab hold and reach upward. And from this simple act, cutting, planting, and guiding, begins the long climb of India's black gold. A climb that will one day bring fortune to the very farmers who nurtured it. Now, after the young plants are successfully transplanted, they must be nurtured with great care using essential management practices. Let's see how local farmers make this happen. To keep the soil rich and healthy, farmers begin by adding compost or natural manure. They also mix in fertilizers with important nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. Everything the pepper vines need to grow strong. Around the base of each plant, they spread mulch made of coconut husks or dried leaves. This simple step locks in moisture, keeps the soil cool, and stops weeds from stealing nutrients. For water, farmers rely on the method called drip irrigation. Instead of flooding the field, this system gently delivers water straight to the roots, saving water while keeping the plants hydrated, even during dry spells. The vines also need careful attention. Farmers prune them regularly, trimming away extra leaves so sunlight can reach the plant and help it grow taller and stronger. Of course, these vines aren't without threats. Tiny pests like aphids and mealybugs, along with fungal diseases, often attack. However, farmers fight them off using eco-friendly pest control methods passed down through generations. But here's the catch. Black pepper farming requires patience. A young vine may take 1 to 3 years before it begins to bear fruit, and the best harvests usually don't come until the 7th year. Once the first monsoon rains arrive, tiny clusters of flowers bloom along the vine. Over the next 6 to 8 months, these blossoms slowly transform into green pepper berries, the precious crop that farmers have worked so hard to grow. Now that the peppers are ready, let's see the fascinating process of harvesting them. Did you know that a healthy black pepper plant can be harvested up to 3 times a year? This makes it one of the most rewarding spice crops out there. But timing is everything. Unlike other spices, pepper must be picked at just the right moment, when the berries begin turning red or yellow. That's when they hold the richest flavor and the highest nutrients. In Kerala and other parts of India, farmers still harvest pepper by hand. This careful method lets them choose only the ripest berries while protecting the plant and preserving the spice's unique taste. Once picked, the peppercorns are separated from their clusters, either by hand on small farms or with threshing machines on larger ones. The berries are then cleaned, sorted, and spread out under the sun for 7 to 10 days. This natural drying process is what gives black pepper its deep flavor and aroma. Once dried, the black pepper is packed in special moisture-resistant bags. These keep just enough humidity inside to preserve flavor while preventing spoilage. Because pepper is more sensitive to moisture than to heat or light, storage is super important. For ideal storage conditions, this spice is best stored in a cool, dry place, away from direct sunlight, exposure to external moisture, and in airtight containers until it is ready to begin its journey to kitchens and markets around the world. So the next time you sprinkle black pepper on your meal, remember, it's more than just a spice. For Indian farmers, it's a lifeline, a golden ticket that turns tiny peppercorns into fortune. No wonder it's named the king of spices. Do you know of any other surprising benefits of black pepper? Have you ever used it for health, cooking, or wellness? Share your experience in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this journey into the story of black pepper, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories about the amazing art of farming foods that sustain our world. See you in the next video.